What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily Rewind. It's where we go back a week, give you all of your tech news stories from the past 7 days in one single video. In this video, we found out a lot of cool information about the Galaxy Z Fold 4, from information about the crease, the max amount of storage, a really cool thing about the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro and when they're going to be coming out, and I will let you know it is sooner than we thought, and much more. So enjoy this week, and we'll see you in the next one. Again, it's a little bit of a rehash, but it looks like we're getting further confirmation with this, and it's stuff that I think you guys definitely want to know, because a lot of you guys, if the S Pen is or isn't there, the next thing you want is 1 terabyte of storage, at least the option to get it. Now check this out. This is a tweet from Snoopy Tech, and I've seen this from others as well over the past 24 hours, saying that the Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Fold 4 max storage amounts will be 512 gigabytes on the Flip 4, and then max 1 terabyte on the Fold 4. Now, we still don't fully know, are these 512s and 1 terabytes, are they gonna be literally everywhere? Are you gonna be able to pick up a 1 terabyte in America, or is it just going to be in Korea or only just in China? I would guess at this point, they're probably bringing these to almost all the most popular places in the world in terms of where their phones are sold. So my guess would be that you'll get a 1 terabyte in India, in China, in Korea, in America, Canada, Europe, like places like that. I think you'll probably be able to get it. Maybe it'll be everywhere, no matter where they sell phones. So very cool stuff. That's why I wanted to get out to you guys, is that because I know a lot of you are like, damn, I need the 1 terabyte, or even if you're on the Flip 4 side, you might not be able to get 1 terabyte, but 512 gigs of storage is a massive amount of storage. The story of the day has to do with the Galaxy S23 and S23 Plus, the front camera. After 3 years, it's finally getting an upgrade. Now, this information is coming out of Galaxy Club. You can see from the headline that the S23 will probably get an improved front camera. And they're talking about the S23 and S23 Plus, saying early information reached us that Samsung is considering giving the S23, S23 Plus a front camera with a 12 megapixel sensor, so that it would be the first resolution upgrade in the top model since 2019. So overall, fantastic news. If you love taking selfie photos, and you're gonna upgrade to the next one, you're gonna get a slightly better camera, or at least it should be, than previous generation. So really, really good news. Next up, as you can see from the headline, the Z Flip 4 Bespoke Edition gets new colors and wider launch. And Sam Mobile goes on to say that they can now confirm that the Bespoke Edition will be offered for the Galaxy Z Flip 4 as well. There will be more color combinations on offer than last time. Samsung will also get the Z Flip 4 Bespoke Edition more widely available in additional markets. So if you love to customize the colors of your phone and maybe have a different color from the top versus the bottom, and some other tricks up their sleeve that you can do with the colors, you're gonna be able to do that. More colors, more places to order this from, in terms of like, you'll be able to order it in different countries. So again, fantastic news to see this if you love having this. Now, is there gonna be a Bespoke Z Fold 4? I haven't heard just yet, but I guess we'll wait and see if there is. Ice Universe is dropping some major news here about the Z Fold 3 versus the Fold 4, showing that the crease is taken at the same angle and it is much less than the Z Fold 4. Now, this doesn't bug me at all, but when you look at this, you can definitely see there's probably a 50 to 75% decrease in the crease overall. But in the grand scheme of things, is it going to make the experience better? No, but I guess aesthetically, it's more pleasing. It's gonna make people more like, ooh, I like the less of a crease. It looks so good. So it'll make people happy, and overall, you know, that's a good thing. And more people might, you know, play with this at the store and be like, damn, this is sleek. This is cool. They really made some cool changes, even though it's literally just a little bit less of a crease. In better cameras, obviously, there's good things about the phone, but less of a crease is, in the grand scheme of things, not the most important thing. Also, Ice Universe said that the energy efficiency performance of the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which will be in the Flip 4 and Fold 4, allows you to buy Android flagship phones with confidence in the second half of the year. So it sounds like when you get your Fold 4 or Flip 4 with this new processor for Qualcomm, that the overall performance and then, but more importantly probably than anything, the efficiency of it is going to be that much better. So I love to see that, you know, better performance, better battery life is really going to feed into one of the great things about upgrading to the Flip and Fold 4. And then lastly, Anthony the Galax puts out that the Z Fold 4 and Flip 4 are going to have new display materials. So they're going to come with the M12 OLED organic material set. It's an improved version of the M11 OLED and the S22 Ultra. Now, I don't think necessarily this means that the Fold 4 and Flip 4 are going to have better overall quality displays than the S22 Ultra. I think it just means that if you compare the Fold and Flip 4s versus the Fold and Flip 3s, that you're going to see, you know, or feel overall better quality with the newer generations of the devices. I think that's where it's really going to come into play. First story of the day has to do with One UI 5.0. We've talked a little bit about it, and there's just more fuel in this fire that gets me really pumped about this. Check this out, tweet from Ice Universe saying One UI 5.0 has begun to build, and it is currently known that there are major changes in animation, and that's what we've been hearing. A lot of information leading up to the animations being much more improved on these Galaxy phones that are going to be having One UI 5 to make it feel more snappy and fluid and fast. And the phones are already pretty damn fast, but if you can make them faster and more fluid feeling and less of a like a, I'm all for this. I'm really stoked. This is one of the things when I was just playing with my Pixel phone the other day, I was like, dang, this thing is so smooth and fast. Even though performance-wise, it actually performs worse than what the processor inside of the latest Galaxy phones, but still, it's so much snappier and fluid feeling than a Galaxy phone. Hopefully One UI 5 brings this up to Pixel-esque feeling. As you can see from the headline, Samsung's 50 million unsold phones are a bad omen for the market. And what this means is Samsung, there's a report coming out of Korea that Samsung has phones, 50 million of them that are unsold. Now, I look at this one of two ways. And is it bad? Yes, kind of bad for the economy that these phones have not been sold. Most of these phones, I guess, are their mid-range phones, they're A-series phones. And when I look at that again, I'm like, well, at least it's not their top tier phones. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe people want a better experience or the best experience they can get. So they do go to that top layer of phones. So again, I think it's kind of a good thing, but I also can see it being a bad thing because if you have that many leftover phones, it's kind of telling of the economy in a whole. Maybe it means that the lower to middle class, it doesn't have the money to buy these phones. Not that they can't afford more expensive phones, but maybe they're the ones that buy most of those phones financially. Or maybe it means older folks who do have money but don't need the best phone buy those phones. So I don't know, I can see it both ways, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. You can see from Ice Universe's tweet, a 1 terabyte version of the Z Fold 4 exists, at least in Korea, and he shows off a little graphic showing it off. We've talked about this recently, that there should be a 1 terabyte version of the Z Fold 4. And again, it might be only in Korea, it might only be in China, it might be all these, you know, countries that most of my audience don't even think watches me from, but still, it's good, it's at least a good indication that we're going to get this 1 terabyte version, so we'll keep our fingers crossed on this story still. And our last story of the day is the absolute, I think, ugly, I definitely won't be using these wallpapers of the Galaxy Z Fold 4. They look quite similar to the Z Fold 3, they're kind of uninspiring. Again, I wouldn't use them. Maybe you love them, but I just would not use them. And here they are, tweeted out by Gary Vianhan, I think I said that right. I don't like these at all. I would not use these as my wallpaper at any time. But would you? Our first story of the day is about the Galaxy Z Flip 4 and some of the colors that are going to come out for the phone. There's even more, I guess, than we thought. And then also what the most popular color will be that Samsung puts out. So here we go. So first of all, this information is all coming from Ross Young, who has super followers on his Twitter. So head over to his Twitter and send him, you know, go sign up for as a super follower and you'll get some of his information very early before anybody else. Anyways, he's seeing a wide variety of Galaxy Z Flip 4 colors. He's seeing gold, gold, yellow, white, gold, yellow, yellow, gray, light blue, purple, which is my favorite, silver, navy, navy, and silver, white, white. Now those colors, when you see all those, that's basically the different color combinations that you'll be able to buy the phone in. So you'd have, like, for instance, maybe the top is black, the middle is green, and then the bottom is green, something like that. So that's why it's multiple colors on there. But beyond that, he also says gray production is expected to be the highest in the first few months, followed by purple and gold. Color combinations are much lower, bespoke edition, etc. So what he's talking about there is that the easiest phone to get, especially if you're gonna pre-order this phone, you're probably gonna wanna pre-order the gray one, or that one will probably last the longest in terms of pre-orders before they start to get pushed back. And then beyond that, he said purple and gold will be the next colors that are the most popular. And then beyond that, the other crazy colors, all the mixtures, those will be even less before they sell out. So keep in mind, if you really, really want this phone, you might end up with the gray color. Next up is about the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. All of those watches, what are the prices going to be? Well, it looks like we're getting some Euro prices, and this is coming from Roland Quan, who has a great track record, and he is saying the following for all of the prices of these watches. So he's saying the Watch 5 will start off at 300 euros and go to 350 euros, and it'll come in the colors of pink, gold, gray, and silver. If you want the 44 millimeter, you're looking at 350 euros and 400 euros. And then the Watch 5 Pro, which is the big boy, big daddy, 45 millimeter. It'll have Bluetooth at 490 euros or $540 for the LTE, and come in black and titanium. He does mention that price conversion and taxes may make numbers differ from actual MSRP. Now, when I look at those, it seems like the Watch 5 Pro is going to be like a $500 watch, which is very expensive for something that, I don't know, you're literally lifting your wrist up, oh, that's the notification, cool. Or, oh, I walked 3 miles, or my heart rate is this much. Like, that's especially if you don't get any kind of discount on it, that's a tough buy, I think anyway, for something that's, I wouldn't really use as anything more than a glorified notification system. So I don't know, what do you guys think about those prices? Are they too much? Are they just right? What do you expect? And what do you use your watch for anyway? Let me know in the comments below. And our last story of the day from Max Jamber, saying the Buds Pro 2 will launch before Unpacked. You've been hearing a lot about that. Max Jamber also has a great track record, and I believe this is something Samsung has done in the past as well, if I'm not mistaken, with Buds. They've released them usually like a month before Unpacked, and then when Unpacked comes out, they kind of talk about them again a little bit, not so like, oh my God, we have these new Buds, but more so, hey, we have these Buds and they work with this and they do that. And then you can also expect you probably get them as a pre-order gift, or credits to get them as a pre-order gift as well, with when and if you get the Z Flip 4 or the Fold 4 in August. So I do probably plan on buying a pair of these. I know I'll probably get a pair for free with my Fold 4, but still, I use them enough and like them enough that I would probably pick them up just for the channel, really. If I was just a regular person walking around, I'd probably wait until the Flip 4 or Fold 4. If this wasn't my job, I'd be like, hey, I want to get them for free rather than having to hand out about 150 bucks. And that's really about what the price is going to be. The rumored price is probably going to be about 170, something like that. It's going to be most likely the same price as what the regular Galaxy Buds Pro launched at when they originally came out. First story of the day has to do with the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. Why? Because there's something that potentially I'm going to be very happy about. One of the things I cannot absolutely stand about Pixel phones is how bright the display gets. From the beginning of time with Pixel phones, it's like I have to literally put the brightness up to like 80 or 90% for it to feel even normal for me, which I usually keep my Samsung phones at about 50%, maybe 40% brightness, and I'm generally pretty happy with it. But there's some good news rolling out of this. So the story that's coming out, and Sam Mobile talked about it, is that Samsung displays will be much, much brighter, aka extra bright. And the reason they're saying this is because there is some information that was figured out on the Google source page saying that they're going to be using Samsung panels, but it looks like they're going to potentially be using the HC4 panel, which is brighter and newer. So it looks like the peak brightness will be 600 nits with manual brightness, which is 100 nits more than last year's Pixel 6 phones. But then to add on to that, the max high brightness mode luminosity is going to 1000 nits, up from 800 nits on the Pixel 6 Pro. And then to add even more onto that, it looks like the Pixel 7 Pro will be able to achieve 1200 nits at a lower APL value. So a lot of tech talk in there, but basically it sounds like it's going to be anywhere between 600 to 1000 nits, maybe even up to 1200 nits, which would really bring it into a class of its own in terms of Google phones. Now, it's still not going to be as bright as a Galaxy S22 Ultra, which is like 1500 nits, but still, I am completely happy if they can get up to 1000 nits and I can put it halfway and I'll just be so again, I know it's not a huge thing because I can make it as bright as it can go, but even under direct sunlight, it's going to be a lot easier to see as well. So very good news potentially coming up for the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. Next up, Galaxy Unpacked. As you know, we've kind of spoken about this, but it is due to come on August 10th. They're saying the pre-order is going to be the 16th through the 22nd, and the release would come on the 26th. I'm going to fight about that because the pre-orders generally start the same day, a couple hours after, or maybe the next day after the actual event, which would be August 10th. I know this says 16th through the 22nd, but I think I'm going to put money on it that he's probably talking about Korea. I feel like Korea always does theirs about a week later after the event. In America and a lot of other places in the world, they generally do it the same day as the launch event. I'll keep my eyes on this one. He's saying this. I know John Prosser said something else. John Prosser said what I'm saying right now, that it would come out, that it would be pre-ordered the same day as the event. But we'll wait and see. Again, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Korea, but we'll wait and see. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. And then potentially a little bit of mythology. I don't know about this, but the Galox is saying that the Z Fold 4 has a much improved under-display selfie camera, but it's not on par with the selfie camera on the S22 and far from the 40 megapixel selfie camera on the S22 Ultra. This is likely the reason Samsung decided to not apply the technology to the S23 series. So I'm going to talk more about the Z Fold 4 in here. That's kind of what we've been hearing, is that the Z Fold 4 under display camera on the big display is going to be better. It's going to take better photos. Now, how much better? Is it going to be incredibly better? Probably not. It's still the same 4 megapixels. Anything better is going to be better than what we have now, though. So hopefully they can get it to the next step, so it looks pretty good, and then keep increasing and keep improving upon that. Our one and only story of the day before we jump into the questions is really a thought piece. So here it is. So this article was written by Sam Mobile saying no exciting changes for the Galaxy Z Flip 4 will be its secret to success. So what they're saying is basically, even though the phone is going to stay the way it looks for the most part, the same as previous generations of it, that's going to help with it and be a success for the phone. Now, it doesn't mean nothing's being changed on the phone. Obviously, they'll have newer, more modern internals that have the newest processor put out by Snapdragon, their 8 Plus Gen 1 processor. It'll have, probably some newer cameras in there. It'll have a bigger outside display on there slightly. It'll probably it has a bigger battery. It has more storage, up to 512 gigabytes of storage. So there are some things that are changing, but ultimately they say it'll still be the key to the success. And I agree, and I guess I don't agree with it. So I guess the part of me that does agree is that I think they have to get the price down again. Even though the phone is still pretty cheap, I think they need to get into that $799, $899 place where people are just like, almost like, you know what, for a modern phone from a company that's a kind of top tier phone, for that price, I'm grabbing it. And it's a different form factor, but it's not so radical versus something like a Z Fold phone where I can get used to it and it closes up really small, and I can see it being more like, I know women like it, guys like it too, but I think like that's a kind of folding phone that might be aimed more towards kids or women, more so than the Fold probably is. And again, I know both sides of the equation. Women buy Folds, men buy Flips, but I think the majority of the folks that they're aiming for are aimed at different people, or marketed towards different people for both of those lines of phones. So yeah, I kind of agree with it that they can keep the phone the same, But I think they have to drop the price. That's where I think they really have to do it. And that'll be the key to its success. Because I think it is one of those products that when you buy it, especially if you've never had a folding or a flip phone, that it's kind of that gateway device that gets you to the other side. You know, you get that phone and then you're like, you know what? The fold phone looks pretty cool and it's different. And I'm gonna get that now this time. Or maybe that's the device that gets you onto Samsung because it's kind of different than anything Apple has. And you're like, damn, now I'm gonna get the Buds, I'm gonna get the watch, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. For me, that gateway device with Apple back in the day was the iPod. I always wanted an iPod. I finally got one, and then I'm like, damn, now I want a MacBook. So I got a MacBook. And then I ended up, when the iPhones came out, at least the 3G one, I got the iPhone 3G. And then I got another iPod. I got this, I got that. So I had a lot of Apple stuff. Eventually I switched over to Android, but a company needs these kind of gateway devices that will kind of swing you onto that other side to make you buy it. And even though the Z Flip market is pretty small and it's seemingly going to continue to grow because it is kind of small and it's kind of a different device, this makes sense in a way. All right, first question of the day comes from Terry Bourne saying, do you think the phone cracking in the crease would affect the trade-in value? Wouldn't this be considered normal wear and tear? Crack? No, I don't think so. You could probably get it fixed as a defect, but you have to get it fixed before you trade it in. So I would look at potentially getting that fixed. Otherwise, you're taking your chance at getting a really, really low trade-in value when you send that phone into Samsung if you're gonna try to trade it in for one of their newer ones. Let's Play Games. It says, is there any news about the release of the Xiaomi 12 Ultra and why did they take more than a year to release the phone? I have no idea. Xiaomi sends me some of their phones. I thought the 12 already came out. Am I wrong about that? I know I did. I thought I did like the 12 something. I could have swore the 12 Ultra already came out. Maybe it didn't. I don't keep super close eye on the Xiaomi phones. Whatever they send me, I kind of make a video on it and tell you guys what I think. But in terms of why it potentially isn't out, I'm not sure. And our last question from JJ says, will you be getting the 1 terabyte Fold 4 if it has more RAM, maybe even exclusive color? I know it's more storage than anyone needs, but it would be nice to have the big boy. The way I look at it now, and I've kind of said this before, is for me, 256 gigs of storage is completely fine. It lasts me getting up into a year, and then I'm like, you know what, I need to delete some stuff, or I might need that next storage unit, but usually I'll just offload some videos or photos, but I still, even to this day, I think I have like 60, 70, 80 gigs or something free on this one. So for me, probably the highest I personally would go would be 512 gigabytes, but would I get the 1 terabyte version if it had more RAM? Maybe it has 16 gigs of RAM, or maybe it has an exclusive color. I'll be honest with you, probably not at this point. The 12 gigs of RAM is absolutely fine with me on this. So the only reason I would get the 1 terabyte would be if it had more RAM and you guys were like craving it and you're like, oh, I want to see some videos on it, how it compares and all that stuff. That's really the only reason I would probably do it. Otherwise, they'd probably have to throw some extra stuff in there, like more trading credits, more pre-order gifts. They'd have to give me some kind of extra feature that the other ones don't have. There'd have to be some things thrown in there that would really get me salivating. But otherwise, just more storage or even an exclusive color, I'd probably say no to that. Let me know about you guys. Would you get the 1 terabyte version in the comments down below? Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.